Hey yo, so before I start the video today, I was a little bit sick and I still am a little bit sick. I've been a little bit sick for the past few days. I have a little bit of allergies going on, so my voice sounds a little bit weird compared to normal. But I want to start off today's video by once again shouting out everybody who's been subscribing and watching my videos. My video, the big one, is now at 140,000, and the one I just uploaded is at 11,000, and I have now 2.4k subscribers. Really, I know I've said this a million times already, but I really can't thank everybody enough who's willing to subscribe and comment something helpful and everything like that. It really does mean the world. I've had countless people add me on LinkedIn as well, willing to help me out over there, and it really does mean the world. So I just wanted to start this off by saying thank you so much once again. But in today's video, I kind of want to talk about a word that I feel like I made up. Is kind of a joke. So every time I see, one of my friends and I want to mess with them, like every time they're just not doing nothing and just on the phone, I say that they're nothing maxing, right? Just a little joke. But I want to talk about the art of nothing maxing today. So for me, nothing maxing involves me being on my phone, just absolutely doing nothing useful and just wasting my time on some sort of short form content, right? And what this does is it effectively puts me into a time vortex that completely sucks my time and energy up doing absolutely nothing, right? This, time could be better used for something such as working on programming, building something cool, building cool stuff, so on and so forth, right? And this is definitely my biggest weakness, right? I would say that, I've in the past, I've really had a big problem with, getting distracted with whatever it may be. And maybe it's some sort of ADHD thing. I don't know. I'm not diagnosed. I'm not going to say I have it, but I will say that I do have a very hard time focusing on things sometimes. And my biggest problem is getting started in the first place. So what often happened with me in school is I would get distracted, either, just doing absolutely nothing on my phone or hanging out with my friends or something like that. And then by the time that some project is due, right, I'm sitting there like, oh, fuck, what have I done? Why have I done this to myself once again? Instead of being a scheduled good Henny 117, I am now the unscheduled foolish Henny 117, right? And I just really want to stress the fact that using your time wisely to make and show the world cool stuff is going to get you what you want in life. Really, this whole, CS thing, really, I want to make a big effort, for all the people who are coming here that are like me, to stress the fact that making cool stuff is what it's all about. And you can't make cool stuff if you're nothing maxing all day, like I was, and sometimes still do. Now, I will say with this new whole content thing going on, I'm doing a whole lot less of that. I've been doing my best to answer every single comment and everybody was, hitting me up on LinkedIn. And I will say I am sorry. I don't know if I'll be able to get to all of them because it's a very weird thing to go from pretty much nobody to kind of somebody, like almost overnight. I'm still kind of shocked that I have this thing going on, but I'm still so excited at the opportunity that I have, and I will not let my nothing maxing nature take over and let me lose this opportunity. So what I want to do instead of nothing maxing is I want to lay out a plan for what I want to do, a somewhat of a plan, right? More of like a concept. So I streamed on Twitch for, close to 7-8 years, something like that, right? I've done this for a long time, and I love it more than anything. It was always so fun just to get on the stream and get it with my friends and, just have some silly clips over the game, doing whatever, right, where we just have fun. But now I have an opportunity not only to still keep doing that, because I'm always going to still be streaming my games and having fun with my friends, but I have an opportunity to make it something bigger. And what I want to do is, somebody had suggested to me in my stream yesterday that I should do like days for games and then days for programs. I had thought, I could do both, and maybe I can, like just like have one half of the stream be, making something, some sort of, code that I want to work on, and then the last half just be having fun on the game, right? But my biggest part, like I said, is getting started. And I really need to have, projects that I really want to work on, that I'm interested in. And once I get started on those, I won't stop, and it'll be a fun time. I hope that all of us can come together and learn something whenever I am trying and failing to build something, and then after trying and failing, eventually do build something. And I think that would be super cool thing to watch and for everybody to come and participate in, and maybe build something alongside me, and we all figure it out together, right? But I really just have to have like a list of some projects that I want to work on. So I'm gonna do my best to be gathering those over the next coming days, and just really have a good game plan for what I want to do on stream and what I want to work on. Anyway, like I was saying, I just really want to have like a decent game plan going forward, because that's always been one of my weakest strong suits, right? I've always, like, for the most, like the last few years, I want to say I've lived in like survival mode, living day by day, plans for the future, yes, but more so focused on just really going day by day, taking things a day at a time, and just, going from there, which I don't think is a bad thing. But now that I have this vision for an actual future for myself, things are becoming real now. And I don't know how I can explain that, right? I didn't really have a future vision for myself, other than the fact that I was just following the usual game plan: go to college, get out, get a job, right? Well, as the video and the comments have said, that doesn't work anymore, really. You have to be in college at the same time prepping for those jobs and prepping for interviews and everything like that. The game's changed, right? And I just didn't know, and once again, I do want to sit here, and I really try my best to make it an issue of, this is an issue of me, this is a skill issue for me, right? Because I just didn't know. I don't know if I want to sit here and blame the industry for my shortcomings, because I feel like, to me, that's an excuse. But I also could be wrong about that. That's just how I think. I'm very inwardly thinking. I always try to blame myself before I blame anything else on the outside, which does, it works sometimes, and then sometimes it bites me in the ass because it's not my fault. But that's just the way I think. And that's just me. So I don't really know. But it has gotten to a point now to where I can do something, and really I have a big opportunity here, not only for me to do what I've always wanted to do, which is make cool content for people and make cool stuff, but I have an opportunity to help people like me. And I'm really doing my best to keep that in the forefront, because I think we have a really big opportunity here to build a community of people like me who feel like they've been left behind, and everything like that. I just feel like we really have a chance here to make something for ourselves now, and I'm super excited about it. I haven't really been able to sleep the last few nights, one, because I've been kind of sick, and then two, I'm just thinking about the next steps and excited about what's to come. And that didn't happen before. I was dreading this time, when I was in college, the last, year or 2 years, because I was like, oh God, I have nothing. What am I going to do in this market? But I guess it really all came down to me making something and uploading it, making cool stuff and uploading it. Now, I would not consider my first video cool. I would consider that video me going into the camera and just like saying how I felt and uploading it, right? I treat a lot of my social media stuff as a mirror to myself, like I'm talking to myself every time I do something kind of serious like that. And before on my channel, I had a few videos like this that were just talking about, not computer science related things, but things that I was feeling and going through at the time. and just like really talking it out. And it seemed like my friends enjoyed that. You know, my friends were like my audience for, you know, most of my career of content creation, if you want to call it that. I would just call it me uploading stuff. But I guess that those were the building stones or the stepping stones of what I am doing now. And just like, you know, everything else I was doing content wise, you know, it's trained me to be comfortable behind the camera and to say how I'm feeling and not feel any type of way about it, because I've always want to give the most genuine version of myself whenever I turn this camera on. I never want to play some type of character. I don't want to play anything up. You know, if I'm acting silly, that's because I am silly. You know, if I'm acting genuine, that's because I am doing my best to be as genuine as I can. And I know this video has kind of gotten off the point of the whole nothing maxing issue, but it does still relate here, because I was doing something like making content for so long and I've gotten good at it. Somebody in my comments had mentioned the fact that I play Overwatch, which I do. That is one of the big games that I stream, you know. And he was saying that clearly, you know, you have to get shit on a lot in order to get good and get better. And I couldn't agree more, because hopping into Overwatch competitive lobby and the computer science market give the same mental feeling, I would say, right about now. But the point is, you know, in Overwatch, I started, you know, I started really playing Overwatch when the Overwatch 2 beta came out, and I started, you know, gold or something. And now I've been playing pretty consistently since then, and I've hit like masters on support. Nothing too crazy, right? That doesn't matter in comparison to this video. But the point that I want to make there is I worked, I got better, I got shit on, and then I got even better, and now I'm here. And so I really want to take that approach into going and making projects that I'm able to upload and show everybody. Because now at this point, I would consider myself a bronze 5 programmer, because, you know, I've been out of the loop for a little bit. I guess the workflow, I guess, is a better word for it. I've had a lot of stuff going on. You know, my dad's health was pretty rough for a little bit, so I had to take my focus off of, you know, stressing about this stuff and then going forward. Oh my God. Oh my God. I got a text. I thought I got a bad text. I'm sorry. But anyway, fuck, what was I saying? No, okay. I want to get that practice in for this programming skill and really just ignite that fire that was there to where I'm able to work on stuff every single day again. I want to have projects that I'm sitting here building for everybody, that everybody that's like me can feel like, if this idiot can do this, I can do this as well, right? That's really the biggest point that I want to do, getting these points across here, right? That sentence made absolutely no sense, but you know what I'm saying, right? It's the biggest point that I want to show everybody. If I can do it, you can do it 10 times better. That's really what I want to say. At the end of the day, like I've said before, it's all about making cool stuff and hitting that upload button and showing people. And this whole experience has really showed me the importance of that and the importance of trusting the process. If I'm really giving effort, if I'm having a good attitude about everything every single day, even when I'm getting shitted on, all will be okay in the end. Somehow everything will work out. But yeah, that's probably going to do it for today's video. I apologize if I was rambling a little bit once again. I am a little bit sick, didn't get much sleep, but it's okay. All good. I just want to tell each and every one of you, thank you so much for interacting with any piece of my content or being willing to give me any type of advice. It really does mean the world. I will say I will be streaming almost every single day. As I have before, I will be live today, and I have a pretty big announcement for something that I'm going to be doing on Sunday on another channel, and I don't want to say anything about it because it's pretty big to me, and I hope it goes well. But please be on the lookout for Sunday. It's going to be a big day. I'll let y'all know what's happening when it comes closer. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Please, I hope everybody is inspired by what's happening here. The fact that people like me are able to still have a chance, doing something in this space. I really hope that shows everybody that if my silly ass can do it after doing this thing for 8 years and just, talking to my friends and some of the OG people that have been there since the beginning, that stuff can really happen. It's never over. You're never cooked. You're never cooked. It's never over. Become the chef. That's all I got to say. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Be sure to be ready for the streams and everything if you want to watch those. I will be live. I'm still debating on if I should do Twitch and YouTube at the same time. I tried that last night and it did pretty well. But yeah, let me know, anything in the comments. Let me know of projects you would like to see me do, anything like that. I really appreciate each and every one of you, and thank you so much once again.